Oh, hi again guys, and welcome to part 17 of Dent Station. We are between the hours of 8 PM and 9 PM for this session, and as I mentioned on episode 16, they are all up trains, booked up, they're all booked up trains. I will be throwing in a couple of special workings northbound, just to break the monotony. Only one passenger, so the other 5 are freight. A couple of interesting ones, you don't see that often on the Settle Carlisle, so they're a little bit different. Meanwhile, I've been doing a few more alterations and kit bashing and whatever, so I'll show you some of that now. You may remember I started this project a good few weeks ago now, and it ended up getting put on the back burner for other reasons. So it's a fuel wagon that moves between depots. These are taken from, I can't remember what book it is now, British Railway Wagons I think, by Don Rowlands. It was an interesting bit of kit, so I decided that I would have a go at it. I like different freight stock especially. Just adds a load of interest. You can get anything out of a box, but to actually make something that's totally different to what's available, I always find that interesting. So this is progress on it so far. It's cobbled together with an old milk tanker, stripped down, the body removed, so I've only used the chassis because it was a 6-wheeled wagon. I made up a brass cradle and a couple of tubes which are filled with plastic putty to put a bit of weight into the vehicle. Scratch built all these little details at the business end. The footway at the top, or walkway, is redundant parts off old sea cow wagons, teeth-in wagons I think they were, and this is all just basically bits of brass bent, twisted and whatever it takes to make something convincing. Just turn it around, let you see the other side. There's a couple of pipes to go on the actual top here at the back of the walkway. Once they're in, it'll be ready for paint and it can be put into traffic. Now, as you know, I've mentioned it in the past, I like to see the train run with the appropriate head code, or headlamp code, and because of the size, they're so small and they're actually fitted on the lamp brackets. If you don't have a lamp bracket, I use just a bit of blue tack, but these are fitted to the lamp brackets. And over the months and whatever, they do disappear. You know, they pick a local up, you forget the lamps are on the front, and you're looking for them, they've gone. So you need a constant supply. So that's something I think is at Springside make them, but you're paying £5 or £6 for 4 or 5 of these things, and I'll be honest, I think they look a little bit big, a bit too tall, so I just cobble my own together. So I'll show you that now. So this is the components just to make 20 lamps. So you have the back section, which are wider plasticard strips, and they're rectangular in shape. The next section is the bulk of the lamp, which is square in shape. These are just cut off a rod, and then the round sections are just cut off a rod to form the lamp glass. And when they're all assembled, a little blob of silver paint for front lamps and a little blob of red paint for rear lamp. Does the job. So I'll put some of these together, and you can see the back plate is on the base, then we paste that on top of the back plate, and then that on top of the body. And then they all need drilling so that they can fit the lamp bracket with a 0.6 drill to start with, and then finish it off with a 1mm. Very difficult to do it straight away with a 1mm because they just wander off true, and it's a lamp in the bin then. So I'll show you these. I can't show you me doing them because they're too fiddly, take forever. But I'll show you the end results when they're done. So here we have 20 lamps in the first stage of assembly. All three parts are put together now. I don't know if it's clear enough for you, but the next stage is just to trim them up and form the hoop at the top. It's not really a hoop, it's just an indication of a hoop. And the next stage after that will be drill a hole, and they'll be painted with a little dot. I've got some red at the moment, so these will all be silver. So here we have the completed fabrication of the lamps. Still got the silver dots to put on. The hole's clear on some, but difficult white on white, isn't it? And from the top you can just see the outline. Sort of forms the handle. Well, 20 lamps done in less than an hour. Not bad, is it? Well, that's them finished now. Little dab of Humbrol number 11 silver. Put it on with a cocktail stick. If you have to leave them a few days to harden off, but if you put a bit more than necessary, forms a little meniscus, which gives the impression of a lens. Looks quite effective. Right, on with the wagon now. So the lamps are all finished now, and the final job is just a dusting with some weathering powders to take the bright white tone out, and then they're ready for use. I usually have to make about 20 every couple of months because I lose them. They end up the hoover when I tidy up the lines, etc. So here's the finished fuel wagon. All it needs now is painting. Quite a bit of detail added, with bits of brass and odds and sods I find in the scrap box. Couldn't find any valve handles for the top, so I had to scratch build a couple of those. The tops just want cutting off once the glue's set. Simple matte black on it, and a bit of a spillage run here and there. I'll show you the other side. It looks quite effective. Painted black, you won't see any of the detail at all, hardly worth doing. So there we go, we'll start doing some running now. So the first train of the day is an anhydrite working. And I'm hauled by an 8F48732. And being 8F hauled, it's only capable of taking 18 wagons rather than the normal 20 for a 9F. And this is the X1915 from Longmeg to Widnes. The 8F was the normal motor power for this train before the 9F was introduced. I do prefer the 9F hauled version, looks far more impressive. This is the X1900 from Carlisle, heading for Aintree, an oil train. Today it's headed by class 44, type 4 peak, number D1, Scaffell pipe. Back in the day when I was a fitter at Totem Depot, I used to work on this local many times. Countless number of times I've changed brake blocks and such on these. Next up we have the X1630 combined Glasgow and Edinburgh service heading for Leeds. And we have Jubilee 45555 Ontario at the head. And the Jubilees will remain one of my all-time favourites. It was one of these I first took the number of when I started train spotting, so it's got a special place. 45629 straight settlements, which of course I do have a model of. This is a class 5 empty coach and stock train. It's from Bella Houston, just outside Glasgow, or part of Glasgow really, and it's heading for Derby. It's returning stock basically back to where it came from, or into works or ex-works, etc. Today it's held by a standard class 5, 73050. My home depot, Corker Hill, had a good allocation of these. Quite an impressive machine when you stood against them. As the empty coach and stock passes, we have an inspection saloon coming out of the Rise Hill Tunnel. Sorry, Widdale Tunnel. So the loco propelling the inspection saloon is a converted IVET 2MT into a BR standard 2MT. This is the inspection saloon returning from an inspection job. The loco is renumbered 78011. This is the last of the timetable sequence for this hour, between 8 and 9 PM. It's a Class 8 general freight from Carlisle to Hunslet, and it passes Dent around 20:43 hours. Today it has an IVET Class 4 MT mogul at the head. And the local number is 43098. This is the last timetable working, but the inspection saloon before that was a little extra for you, and got one more little extra to come on the down line, and that's the sequence complete for this session. Last train of the session, little extra thrown in. We have a 264 tank, 80120, heading north. With a CM and EE return working. Another favourite class of mine, the standard 4 tank. Barker Hill had the very first one of these, 80,000. I can still recall my first ever train spotting trip. And cousin came round and asked if I could be taken out train spotting to the engine sheds. And my dad said, take Michael anywhere you like out my sight. Sounds about right. Playing up as usual, I suppose. But I saw 80,000 that day, and cousin said to me, you're really lucky to get the first one, you'll be able to line that off in your book. And I obviously replied, what book? And that was the start of it. So it was a namer, straight settlements, and the first of the class was what set me on the way to a fabulous hobby. Okay guys, thanks very much for that, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Bye for now.